In this video, we're going to talk about 5 different breeds of goats and their personalities. We're going to meet my herd of pack and dairy goats, and I might even try to choose a favorite breed at the end. If you're new here, my name's Heather, and I live on an active homestead with tons of different animals, and I post content on hunting, hiking, foraging, and farming. So if you like this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And let's go meet the herd. So I have 3 pack wethers, Mary, Pippin, and Strider. I have my milk doe, Rosie, my new buckling, Sam, and a new doeling, Eowyn. We'll start with the pack goats. All 3 boys are wethers, and they're about 1.5 years old. And I really wanted to have like a ton of diversity in my herd, and so I went for pretty much as many breeds as I could get my hands on. One of the things that's so interesting about goats to me that I wasn't really expecting is that they are so, almost more so than dogs, just true to breed as far as personality goes. You pick a breed of goat and you can pretty much look up exactly what their personality is going to be like. We'll start with Mary. He's my 1.5-year-old oberhasli wether. He doesn't have his horns, and that's actually a whole thing in and of itself. I intended to only have pack goats with horns and went to pick him up, and he had just been disbudded. But how do you go? And I had driven a couple hours to get him. And anyways, you're there, and there's this little buckling that's so eager to meet you, and I couldn't say no. So we brought him home, and I'm actually really glad that he doesn't have horns because he is the most cuddly, sweetest, friendliest, in your pocket goat in the best way. Some goats can be kind of like annoying with how affectionate they are, and for some reason with him it's the best thing ever. I think that oberhaslis are just so sharp looking and clean, and I think they're really beautiful for being one of the goats that has a little less patterning. They all look the same. Oberhaslis all look the same. Next pack goat, Pippin, he is a Lamancha, and I had pretty much convinced myself that I wanted nothing to do with Lamanchas because, like a ton of people, I thought their ears were weird. And I was kind of looking into it online, and I was seeing comments that were saying things like, oh yeah, they seem weird until you've owned one, and then all of a sudden you don't think twice about it, you don't notice the ears, and it's gonna become your favorite goat. I'm just astounded at how true that is. Like, his ears, well, it grows on you so much. I think they're so adorable now, and especially because he has horns, his face is balanced out, and I don't know, it's not something that I've ever thought about or noticed. Now, Pippin, a Lamancha, super docile, and super just like stoic and regal, and he is affectionate, but it's not... The best way to explain this is that I misnamed all of my goats. So Mary, Pippin, and Strider. Mary's fine. Like, he's just like this lovable, like, Mary's fine. But Pippin should have been named Strider. He has this very kingly, like, broody but not emotional, stoic, brave personality that's so endearing, and it's like you respect him so much, which is like such a weird thing to say, but it's just something about Lamanchas and about that personality. It's like this stoic, lovable, reserved, but loving and compassionate almost. So in hindsight, he probably should have been named Strider and not Pippin. And that brings me to my Alpine wether. I should have taken the warnings about Alpines. And I love him, obviously. But he is the biggest nuisance, which is why he probably should have got the name Pippin. He is just he's bold and brave and confident and loving and affectionate, but he just wants to test everything. It's like, he's just a little troublemaker, and in a way that's very, very endearing, but it's so frustrating. And a lot of people say that Alpines aren't right for first-time goat owners, and that was my first time ever owning goats, was buying these 3 future packers. And in hindsight, and what I would recommend for people knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't start with an Alpine. They're famously excellent at packing, but the personality is just such a challenge, and I could never part ways with him, but it's definitely something that I had to learn really quickly and that you have to manage. You probably noticed that he does have horns, and my Lamancha has horns, and they are aware of them, but it is still, they're just so formidable even at a year and a half old that I can't just like let my children, I have toddlers, just run around with them and not think twice about it, just because they can just in their casual everyday movements can have an impact. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that Mary ended up having been disbudded, because it's nice to have one that you can just like smash your face into and cuddle with and not think twice about it. So that's my pack string, Mary, Pippin, and Strider, all weathered and all a year and a half old. That brings me to my dairy goat, Nina Rose. Now, I knew before I ever got goats that I wanted to have a Rosie and a Sam to keep with the Lord of the Rings theme. And so when I bought Rosie, I bought her as an adult. She was in milk and she's registered, and her registered name was Nina Rose. And it was just this very serendipitous, like emotional, like meant to be sort of feeling. So she goes by Rosie. And she's an oberhasli as well. She doesn't have horns. She comes from a dairy, and she was shown previously. So, and she again fits the breed personality trait. She's very loving, very affectionate. When I got her, they were like, she's going to give you kisses all the time, which is, and she does. It's just so sweet. She is more reserved than Mary, the wether. And that's kind of been my experience with does versus wethers and bucks, is that the does have tended to be a little bit more reserved. They're still very affectionate and loving, and they have these great personalities, but I seem to bond quicker with the wethers especially. If you're just going to get pets, I would recommend wethers 1,000,000,000% of the time. Not only is the personality so awesome, but it also, they don't have a ton of other roles. Like there's a ton of bucks out there that probably don't need to be intact. And there's all these wethers that are constantly looking for new homes. And so if you're looking for pets or brush eaters or whatever, just like wethers. There's a little aside, so Rosie did, we did breed her to a mini Lamancha. And so she's got her two little babies, Chanterelle and Truffle. And they're just a couple weeks old. And two little boys. And we will not be keeping those. So hopefully they'll go to a pet home. And they're cute as can be. And they've got these great, their sire had the most amazing personality, just one of those Lamanchas, and that's come through in them. They're very, for being dam raised especially, they're super affectionate, friendly, want to be around people. After Rosie, we have little Sam. I just got him this year, and he is going to be our herd sire. He's going to be the only male goat left intact. And he does have his horns, and he's turning out to follow totally on trend with the other obers in personality and of course in looks. And then finally, my sweet Nubian girl, Eowyn. She was an addition this year as well. So she's a Nubian doeling, and she's got the most beautiful patterning, and it just was such a lucky situation with how we ended up with her. But she, again, fits that Nubian description perfectly. Eowyn is, like everybody says, loud. She has so much to say, and I think the sound is really sweet and cute, but if you are concerned about the sounds, or if you live with neighbors close by, or if you're looking for a packer, man, Nubians talk. And that's, she's just the epitome of that since the day we brought her home. But she is very puppy dog-like. She wants to live inside the house with people so badly. Now I did, as actually my first two goats ever, I had two Nigerian dwarfs, and I know people love them, and the size is so convenient. And I didn't mesh well with the personalities of the two Nigerian dwarf does that I got. It's not to say that I would never, try and build a relationship with a Nigerian dwarf again. It's just, it's been so easy with all of these large breeds that there's no incentive for me to go back. I've thought a lot about what I would say my favorite goat breed is, and if you'd look at my herd, you'd think it was obers, because I've got 3 of them now out of the 6 goats that I have. Is that right? Yeah, 6 goats. And, 8, including the babies. And I do love them, but the Lamanchas, there's just something indescribable about the personality of a Lamancha. They're so unique looking, and their personalities are so captivating that I have a really hard time not putting them in the top spot. So I guess I'm just going to say that it's a tie between the obers and the Lamanchas. I like the Nubians, I like the Alpines, and the Nigerian dwarfs don't make it to my list, but something about the Lamanchas and the obers is just really hard to beat. I'm so curious what other people's experiences are, though, and if my experience with goat personalities is consistent with other people. So if you have any of these breeds, I'd love to know if you think that they fit the description or not. If you're thinking about getting into dairy goats or pat goats, I'm still like pretty new, so I'm not the one to give like a bunch of technical advice, but if you have any questions or want to hear anything more about any of these breeds, do let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.